Have you thought about getting into wormhole ratting and think of starting in class 1? Then I will have to tell you that these sites are not really worth the time. And so do class 2 sites. I explain you why in this video. C1 and C2 wormholes have combat sites that pay very low but are still quite difficult, especially for new players. The example you see in this video is the line, the only C1 anomaly without any sentry guns. The sentry guns do a lot of alpha damage, which is very dangerous, especially for frigates, as they can basically just alpha it. A C1 site pays out between 8 and 11 million, a C2 between 12 and 16 million. And C2 sites actually have some battleships that are quite tanky. The Sleepless Patroller has 90k EHP, meaning it takes a long time to kill, especially for low skill player and like cheaper ships like Noses or battle cruisers, etc. With the cheap caracal I show you in this video, fit in description, this site took around 10 minutes and I got around 10.4 million in blue loot. Given that C1 sites are supposed to be more entry level, then the ISK per hour is very low if it is done by low SP players or new players, given that they can even handle the sites. The last wave was very heavy on newts and there was a lot of newt pressure. So this does mean that you already need a solid ship for the lowest wormhole class, and that gives quite low payout. Also, the difficulty increase from C2 to C3 is not that high and you get more than 3 times the loot in a C3. Like there we talk around between 40 and 50 million per site, and the total EHP in C3 is not that much higher than in C2. And even class 3 wormholes can already be done in cheaper ships, like I did in a Drake years ago, or even a cheap Praxis can already do class 3 sites, and they make around 250 million plus per hour there, which is actually quite nice and solid. So overall, this does mean if you want to get into wormhole ratting, I would start in class 3 if you can do it. C1 and C2 are on par or even worse than nullsec Ishtar ratting. And bringing expensive ships to clear C1 and C2 for maybe like 80 million per hour or so is not really worth it. So this means start in C3 if you can handle those. They are about on the same difficulty level as those high-sec event combat sites like Crimson Harvest or Winter Nexus. If you can handle those, then you should also be able to handle C3 wormhole sites. So I think C1 and C2 should actually be improved. And I tell you how. This can be done in 2 ways. The first way is to increase the payout of those sites, but leave the difficulty as it is. This means that maybe like C1 would then maybe be like 15 to 18 million and C2 maybe like 25 to 30 million, which would actually make them worth to do, as currently it is not really worth. Or what alternatively could also be done is to leave the payout as it is, but make the sites a lot easier. So that C1 can already be done by new players in frigates and destroyers, and C2 like in cheap Tech 1 cruisers by newer players. So in that case C1 and C2 would be entry level, content and C3 upwards for more experienced players. Then Wormhole, there would also be more Wormhole content that is actually doable by new players. Like currently, like a 2-day-old player would not have a chance even in a C1 combat site, and they are basically just limited to data and relic signatures that you can run there. Yeah, and that is it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think about class 1 and 2 combat anomalies, and if you think they are worth the time to run, especially given that these are supposed to be more entry level and easier content. When shopping on Market Dragon or Eve Store, use code Gustav. It helps the channel and you get a 3% discount on Market Dragon. Also remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.